Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Remember when Democrat Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, called all those Trump supporters, quote, clowns?
Well, I'll tell you it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx. New York will never, ever support Donald Trump for president.
They're just a bunch of insignificant clowns who won't end up making a difference. Supposedly, you and I are the clowns. You know, it was a nice try and all, but at the end of the day, here's my thought process. You don't get to call other people clowns when you're part of the freaking circus tour. You know, you don't exactly get to point the finger at the other side and say, all of those people are clowns, when your own people are acting like this. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that, as another Democrat embarrasses not only themselves, but the entire political party during a very interesting interaction with a reporter. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so apparently you're the clown and not these people.
It hurts even more that they're being used as pawns in this fight over immigration that doesn't even exist because Biden and McConnell agree. It's just that Trump won't let him move it forward.
All due respect, Judge, you said this issue shouldn't be politicized, but by pointing the finger at former President Trump and Republicans in Congress, aren't you politicizing it?
I think I answered the question. So, yeah, I mean, this is about Jocelyn. This is about her family, and if we want to,
Judge,
as I said, talk about immigration,
then you didn't answer the question. Are you politicizing this by pointing the finger at Republicans and saying it's their fault, not the fault of the Biden administration that lifted the Remain in Mexico policies?
Again, the Biden administration reached an agreement with Leader McConnell to address this, but this is not about immigration. I'm not going to feed into that.
Alright, so let's first start off with a little bit of backstory there. That's a left-wing Democrat county judge not only blaming Donald Trump for the border crisis, but blaming Trump for the murder of a 12-year-old who died at the hands of an illegal migrant during Biden's border crisis. We have a Biden border crisis and it's somehow still Donald Trump's fault. You know, as if it wasn't embarrassing enough when they tried doing this all those years ago. We all remember when the border crisis kicked off at the same time during the Afghanistan withdrawal failure. Back then, the Biden administration's strategy was literally blame everything on Donald Trump. The Afghan withdrawal failure was Donald Trump's fault. The border crisis was Donald Trump's fault.
Every day between now and November, the American people are going to know that the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends.
I would carry this around because see this onslaught headline? The only thing the Post didn't tell you is Donald Trump said, blame me for this. So yes, there is an onslaught in the southern border still. And it's all Donald Trump's fault.
And of course, when that expectedly backfired, what did they say? Well, they pivoted a little bit. It was no longer Donald Trump's fault. No, it was an effect of climate change. Like I keep saying, folks, these are the most dishonest people imaginable. Donald Trump hasn't been the president for nearly 4 years, but apparently what's going on right now is somehow his fault. We keep hearing this same ridiculous argument from Democrats that Donald Trump spiked the bill. Joe Biden was trying to fix the broken immigration system and it's Donald Trump's fault for spiking the bill that we tried passing late 2023. Give me a freaking break. I don't want to sound like a broken record, so honestly, I'm not even going to really repeat the talking points. That bill was not a border security bill. And it's not Trump who killed the bill, it's Republicans in general. In other words, it was a crap, disingenuous bill presented by the Democrats. Republicans didn't sign on. In other words, it was a Biden legislative failure. They tried pushing a crap bill that couldn't get bipartisan support. That's the obvious reality here, but according to these clowns, Trump spiked the bill for political purposes, to have, quote, something to run on. As if Trump needed to spike that border bill to be able to run on the issue of immigration. I swear it's like these Democrats operate within this fantasy world where past context doesn't exist. You only live in real time. Whatever the narrative of the day is, well, that's the truth. And don't let history ruin it for you. You know, forget everything that's true and just believe the lies we tell you. That's the world that they live in, and that's the world they want everybody else to live in. Most people aren't stupid stupid enough to get played by these ridiculous Democrat plays. As if we're all just going to forget the very clear, recorded history that we've been living through. We're just going to forget about all of it and give Joe Biden credit as the border hawk and now start blaming Donald Trump because he tried passing a bill that he couldn't get through. It makes absolutely no sense. Who's going to fall for that nonsense? You see, what I think the Democrats' problem is here is that most of their messaging strategies revolves under this understanding, or at least their warped misunderstanding, that the American people are stupid. They think that you're a bunch of clowns who can be easily manipulated by rewriting of recent history. I honestly think that they legitimately believe that. The only problem is, no one believes that crap, and they're not nearly as intelligent or slick enough as they think they are. They think that they're so smart and they're pulling a fast one on the American public, but they just don't have the proper messengers. You know, Kamala Harris wasn't convincing anyone that the border crisis was Donald Trump's fault and the fault of the weather. Kamala Harris isn't talented enough to convince us of that obvious mistruth. Biden's DHS secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, simply isn't slick enough.
Why do voters feel like Donald Trump can handle it better in poll after poll?
Kate, look, the fact of the matter is our policy is working. Our policies are working.
If this executive order has worked as well as you're saying it's worked this morning, why not just do it a year and a half ago and save the Democrats all the kind of pushback they've had on the border?
Well, let's remember the chronology here. On day one of the president's administration, he presented Congress with a legislative proposal to fix our immigration system. Up until May of last year, Title 42, the public health order, was in place that prevented people from entering the United States, with some exceptions. It provided the government with the authority to expel people from the United States. Essentially, the border was closed. But politics got in the way. The president took action. The border security steps we have taken over the past 18 months are bringing order.
I'll give the guy an A for effort, but the simple fact is, at the end of the day, the reality is, it just isn't working. Nobody freaking believes it. Nobody's blaming Trump for the border crisis. Trump is leading on the issue of immigration by every single pollster, and he has been for years. The people simply get it, and no amount of attempted rewriting of history will change that clear fact. There's no situation where Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, is unable to get the job because his hands are tied by former President Donald Trump, who's not even in government or even really involved in government. That is obviously a lie spun by a ridiculously dishonest and frankly seemingly incompetent Democrat judge who has the linguistic ability of a freaking teenager. Not gonna work. Nobody's freaking buying it. And once again, just simply showing the level of complete dishonesty coming out of these people. They will stop at nothing. They'll say anything they have to win. They'll say anything they have to discredit, demean, or frankly destroy their political opponents. They'll straight up lie, cheat, and steal. And I guess it's more evidence to that clear fact. Anyways, enough Democrat nonsense for the day. That's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.